Hi and welcome to this week's video. My name is Belle and I create oracle decks full of magic and heartwarming stories. This morning I discovered a lovely comment waiting for me on one of my YouTube videos where I talked a little bit about the Akashic Records. The main question of the comment was, what kind of meditation, prayer or routine do you use to get into the right vibration to access the Akashic Records? I thought this was such a beautiful question and probably one that more people have, so I decided to make today's video about it. I just opened the Akashic Records and asked this exact question within them. But first, I'd love to share how I actually begin when I connect with the records. When I open the Akashic Records, I like to say, with love in my heart and light in my soul, I consciously connect with the Akashic Records on the basis of the prayer I received from the Akashic Records themselves. And I say this internally. So please know that I used my teacher's prayer for about a year every day to access the records. Later, I asked for my own personal prayer, which I used for another year or so. But over time, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wanted to save some time. So I said this shorter version that I just read out loud for you. And yeah, it just works the exact same way like I would use my own prayer. So when I'm connected, I like to ask for a sign or an image that shows me that I'm connected. Sometimes I receive a picture, sometimes a symbol, a song, a feeling. It differs. And when I received a sign that I'm connected, if I have a little time on hand, I like to ask a little question before the main question, just to arrive gently and to warm up and settle into the energy of the records. This helps me to let go of any pressure to receive information and simply be in the state of receiving. It helps me to attune my focus, relax into trust and open to whatever comes, because oftentimes what comes in first is a bit confusing, and I, with this question, allow myself just to become in the state of receiving, if that makes any sense. So often, as I said, what I receive first doesn't make much sense to the logical mind. But when I remind myself that it doesn't need to make sense, that it doesn't need to mean anything yet, I can look at it with curiosity and lightness. I think, yeah, I am really connected, because what comes through is often so abstract or unexpected that it couldn't have come from me myself. And over the years, I have developed complete trust. I can tell the difference between my own thoughts and the record's messages, but even now I find it a lovely way to begin and to settle in. So this morning, before I asked the main question, I asked, what is the most important thing for me to know right now in my life? And the Akashic Records replied, Dear beloved angel, know that everything in the universe follows a rhythm. Everything has its own beat and pace. We stand before you as a reflection, yet we are many in our diversity. After that, I felt pretty positive to ask the main question from the comment. So, the question about how to reach the right vibration to connect with those higher frequencies. And this was the answer I received. When a person wishes to connect with the records, the energy of the Akashic chakra, the one above the crown chakra, becomes active. This vibration links you to the all-pervading consciousness. You're always connected to this field, but often your focus is simply not directed there. As soon as you set the intention to consciously connect, the quote-unquote spiritual ear opens, the channels clear, and your awareness turns towards receiving. The next step is to trust. Trust that what you perceive is truly received, that this is not the moment for analysis. Let it flow as it wishes to flow. And here I can say it takes practice to distinguish between your own thoughts and the messages from the records. I want to quickly share a little side note from myself. What you can do, especially in the beginning, is reading for others, because it is so helpful as you receive information that you cannot know and you get direct feedback if this information resonates. And over time, you can more easily distinguish between what comes through and what comes from yourself. So let's continue with the answer from the Akashic Records. Authenticity plays a vital role in life. The more you harmonize your thoughts, your words, and actions, the more inner peace you will feel. The more you trust, the more easily words, images, and feelings flow through you. Doubt is like a roadblock, it interrupts the flow. The connection is always there, but imagine how it can be affected by stress, lack of sleep, dehydration, worry, or impatience. To find calm within, create small anchors in your daily life that bring you back into the present moment, whatever helps you personally. For most people, nature is the fastest, safest, and simplest way to return to the here and now. Regular meditation changes the structure of the brain and its chemistry, allowing you to cultivate inner stillness and peace even in busy times. Movement, good sleep, and healthy nourishment strengthen the body, and what supports the body also supports the mind and soul. Always remember the trinities: thoughts, feelings, and actions, body, mind, and soul. You don't need to strive for a high vibration or a perfect environment to connect with us. You are always connected. It is your attention that directs the energy and your trust that clears the path. And also, the records added one last reminder. Before a reading, consciously ground yourself. Feel the connection with your chair, the floor, or the earth beneath you. Breathe deeply into your belly and let your whole chest open wide. Quiet your thoughts and invite silence. Speak your intention aloud or within, and then simply be open to receive. Trust what comes in. Set your personal thoughts and emotions aside for now and let the flow happen. And here I'll add from my own experience. You can often feel when your energy expands. At the beginning, I sometimes felt a gentle pull at my temples or a soft rustling in my ears. With time, you start recognizing your own subtle signs, the little ways your body tells you you are connected. As the record said, where your attention goes, energy flows and expands. When you focus on that connection, the Akashic chakra naturally activates and expands. And something that I had to learn is that I have to trust and that I have to be simply unashamed of what comes through, because sometimes I do not know the image, I cannot interpret what comes through. But when I trust and when I share, especially when I read for someone else, it sometimes is confusing, especially in the beginning. And I like to tell the person I'm reading for that oftentimes at first I do not have a single clue what the messages I receive mean, but as the reading goes on, it becomes more and more clearer. And also the other person, the person I read for, can often recognize the message in the images or feelings or the words that I receive. So I personally, the reader, do not always have to understand the information coming through, but the one I'm reading for does. So really trust is such a big part. I find the biggest part for me personally, especially as I am someone who receives images that are so wild that I can make no sense, as I said, of the images first. But when I trust and become soft and just let it flow and let come through what wants to come through and don't dismiss it or not share it because I think that is too wild or what should that even be, it does make sense in the end. So if you want to receive consciously information from the Akashic Records, just know that you can. We are born with this tool. We all have it. All it takes is some practice, trust, and your willingness truly. So with that, I will let you enjoy the painting process and I'll talk to you at the end of this video. Yay, you've made it, and I am so happy as always that you've spent this time with me. I hope that you could learn something today, that you feel so inspired as always. That is a point that I want to be making, that the person watching my videos feels inspired and open and full of joy, and hopefully also some new information. So I'm signing off now. I'm wishing you a wonderful time wherever you are, and I'm sending you also so much love. Bye bye.